Are you actually utilizing the ultra-high-performance supercomputer sitting right inside your head? Yeah, I'm talking about your brain. We use it every single day, we completely take it for granted, but honestly, very few people actually understand how it works, let alone how to intentionally control it. It's kind of like being handed the world's most powerful device, but you've completely lost the instruction manual. Well, welcome to this explainer, because today we are going to thoroughly unpack the mechanics of the brain that actively shape the reality we experience. Just imagine for a second. What if you could rewrite your own reality as freely as programming software on a computer?
The reality you want to see, the goals you desperately want to achieve, the ideal life you want to live. What if I told you there's an actual, scientifically grounded mechanism in your head where, if you just input the right code, your brain automatically starts manifesting those things into your reality? I know, it sounds completely wild, but by the end of this explainer, you are going to learn exactly how to use your admin privileges to input that code. It is absolutely fascinating, so let's start looking at the inner workings of this machine.
Here is our roadmap for today. We're going to start with the brain's hardware, explore the ultimate operating system, the prefrontal cortex, uncover some hidden superpowers, decode the magic RAS filter, and finally, get into designing your reality. Let's jump right in.
Part 1. The brain's hardware.
So our hardware's foundation actually starts before we're even born, right in the womb. Now, a crucial point here is that while you obviously can't change the hardware you were born with, how you program the software running inside it is 100% up to you. Just looking at the timeline, at barely 30 weeks in the fetal stage, the brain is already speeding up neural transmission. It's letting the fetus sense outside light and sound. By 37 weeks, the cerebral cortex forms its complex wrinkles, and the physical shape is pretty much good to go. But the truly mind-blowing part happens way after birth. Around age 10, the brain kicks off this massive cleanup operation called synapse pruning. It ruthlessly cuts away neural pathways you aren't using and massively strengthens the ones you do use. And get this, the ultimate command center, the prefrontal cortex, it doesn't fully mature until you're about 25 years old. It literally takes a quarter of a century to fully optimize this hardware.
Let's see how this builds into pure processing power. 21 billion. Just let that jaw-dropping number sink in for a second. Do you know what this represents? This is the exact number of neurons in the human cerebral cortex. To put that into perspective, chimpanzees, who share almost identical DNA with us, well, they only have about 6.2 billion neurons. That means you and I are walking around with more than 3 times the information processing capacity. It is an astronomical leap in hardware. And that superiority lies specifically in the frontal lobe. Dogs are sitting at 7%. Chimps are at 17%. But humans? We dominate at nearly 30%. Almost a third of our entire brain is just the frontal lobe. What makes humans truly human is undoubtedly this massively evolved area. Think about it. Everything from religion, art, and culture to advanced science. All these highly intellectual activities that require rational planning and judgment when facing the unknown, they're all generated by this phenomenal command center. Which brings us to part 2. Ultimate OS, the prefrontal cortex. It is time to meet the CEO of your brain. This is the exact mechanism that separates us from instinct-driven animals. When we're kids, an area called the amygdala essentially holds the reins. Honestly, that's exactly why a toddler will throw a spectacular screaming tantrum over a broken cookie. The amygdala is all about emotion and instinct. It makes rapid-fire binary choices. I like this, I hate this is uncomfortable. But as we grow and hit around age 20, that control is officially handed over to the master of logic, the prefrontal cortex. This adult OS allows us to carefully examine information and exercise metacognition. Metacognition is basically the ability to objectively look at yourself from the outside and say, okay, I'm getting a bit too emotional right now. It is an incredibly elite decision-making tool. Let's rapid fire through the specs of this OS, because it isn't just some cold calculating machine. Sure, it handles reason, self-control, and focus. Have you ever really wanted to go out and have fun, but forced yourself to sit down and finish a deadline instead? That is your prefrontal cortex acting as a master architect, delaying gratification. But it's also your action engine. Almost all the neurons that respond to dopamine, the literal chemical for motivation, are concentrated right here. It's what gives you that let's do this drive. It allows for lightning-fast memory retrieval. It handles really complex social navigation, like reading the room or making a natural smile. It even governs our highest philosophical ideals: love, empathy, a profound sense of justice. It really is the core of our humanity. Now, reason is an amazing tool, absolutely. But it is just a tool. It requires intentional input and active use. This single OS enables incredibly diverse, highly specialized human talents. A botanist observing the subtlest changes in nature, a musician's perfect sense of pitch, a scientist's pure logic. How about the unbelievable physical control of a surgeon or a professional dancer? The language mastery of a lawyer, or the spatial awareness of a pilot? These are all testaments to the sheer power of the prefrontal cortex. I bet you can even spot a few of your own strengths on this list.
Part 3. Hidden Superpowers. So what happens if your logical OS is, well, maybe a bit weak? You might think it just means being forgetful or lacking focus or being overly emotional. But I want to totally reframe these traits for you. They aren't bugs. They are hidden superpowers. Number 1, relentless action. If your logical brain is quote-unquote weak, it means you leap before you look. While everyone else is suffering from analysis paralysis, totally terrified of failing, you trust your gut and jump straight into new challenges. In a fast-changing world, that is a massive superpower. Number 2, sharp intuition. You skip the slow, tedious logical steps and just feel the core truth of a situation instantly. Number 3, unleashed creativity. Without the rigid, boring boundaries of common sense, your mental canvas is completely free. This is exactly why historical geniuses often had impossibly messy desks and wild lives. Their brains simply had no limiters. And 4, empathy and harmony. Because you prioritize emotion over cold logic, you are highly sensitive to the joy and pain of others. That builds deep connections and incredible teamwork.
And what exactly drives all this development and connection? It's our reward system, centered around something called the nucleus accumbens. During puberty, this system acts as a massive engine for motivation, blasting the prefrontal cortex with signals telling it to grow. Our desired rewards actually evolve right alongside our brain. We start out with primary rewards, basic animalistic survival needs like food and safety. But as we mature, we begin desperately seeking secondary rewards. These are human social needs: trust, respect, and recognition. This drive for secondary rewards is the ultimate key that creates our complex human connections and our deep desire to help one another.
Part 4. The magic filter, RAS. All right, we've covered the hardware, we know the OS, and we've seen the motivation engine. Now let's meet your custom software, the RAS, or Reticular Activating System. Have you ever bought, say, a new red car, and suddenly you see red cars everywhere you look on the highway? Yep, that is your RAS in action. It's a complex neural highway running from deep within your brainstem straight up to your cerebrum. Every single day, your 5 senses are bombarded with a genuinely unimaginable amount of data. If your brain tried to process all of it, it would completely crash. So the RAS acts as a powerful, magical filter. It ruthlessly shuts out everything irrelevant and strictly gathers only the information that aligns with what you are focusing on. It is essentially your ultimate personal bouncer. So how do you use this assistant? Well, it's all about focus. The mechanics are beautifully simple but unbelievably powerful. The very second you focus intensely on a goal or a desire, your RAS treats that as a top priority command from the boss. It says, okay, this is the most important thing right now, and it immediately acts as a subconscious radar. It starts highlighting the exact opportunities you previously ignored, pulling them directly into your conscious reality. It is quite literally a cognitive filter that draws the reality you want to see right to you.
Part 5. Designing your reality. We know the brain is a supercomputer. We know the prefrontal cortex is the OS. And we know the RAS is the filter that decides what reality actually gets through to you. So how do we hack it? Here is the exact, actionable code to program your RAS. Step 1, set an unmistakably clear goal. Step 2, vividly imagine the result and speak it out loud. Step 3, create a visual vision board using photos or drawings. Step 4, write a highly detailed journal entry of what the absolute best day ever looks like right after you've achieved that goal. Step 5, walk, talk, and act with the total confidence of someone who has already succeeded. And step 6, get regular, high-quality sleep to let your brain physically rest and wire these new neural connections. By doing these 6 steps daily, you are aggressively inputting powerful code into your RAS. You are giving it a strict command that says, hey, this is my new reality, intentionally customizing your brain's filter to manifest your goal. So I want to leave you with this final thought. You now hold the operations manual to the most powerful supercomputer on the entire planet. You understand the hardware, you know exactly how your OS functions, and you have the keys to the RAS filter. If your brain is a faithful servant that will only show you the reality you command it to look for, when you wake up tomorrow morning, what reality will you program it to see?
The power to design your world is literally entirely in your hands. Thank you so much for joining me in this explainer, and I highly encourage you to start rewriting your code today.